Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
We on the air, huh? Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well,
we've
been having some difficulties, but we're fine. Welcome, everyone. This is the Ted and Ed TV show, and we have so much stuff to talk about. I don't think we're going to really talk about everything. Ed, how you doing? How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing okay. I'm doing great. It has been a busy week for me. I mean, absolutely busy. I got so much stuff going on, man. I can't even keep up. I feel overwhelmed with everything that's going on out there in the news media that has concern with Ted and Ed TV channel, and then all this other stuff that's coming in there behind it. It is just overwhelming, man. I got my brother-in-law and stuff here from Colorado.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you busy.
Yeah, man. He come here. And, he's all sick, man. He barely made it here because my wife's family is full of diabetes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Man, every last one of them got it now. My wife was the last one, and then he had it. He caught it. He has it also, but they just detected and stuff from my wife about 2 years ago, and I guess his came on and stuff about a year ago. But he kept denying it. Man, if you got diabetes and stuff, you gotta deal with it, or they're gonna start cutting your stuff off.
So, yeah, I guess so. The thing. I don't know nothing about a whole lot about diabetes, but I know that if you don't continuously exercise and eat fruits and vegetables, and then it could be hereditary. I don't know.
It is. It's hereditary in their family. It runs deep in their family. Mm-hmm. But go ahead.
But we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. There's just so much stuff that's going on. And the one thing, I'm sorry, let me turn this phone off. The one thing that's been troubling me, besides the hurricane, I'm sending out my best thoughts for those people in prayers, because last year this time, we kind of went through it and it just bypassed our city and it hit Tampa. And, that's a devastating thing because, we weren't out of electricity or nothing like that, but still, you had to have food, you had to have water and all of that. You don't know how long that thing's going to last because you can't really go out in the street because the wind is blowing, 100 miles an hour and that kind of craziness. But, they say that this thing here is gonna last quite a few times, and a lot of people kind of sick of this mess, man. I've been reading and watching a lot of interviews, and people are just tired of these hurricanes every year. It's devastating, man. People. Think about this, Ed. Right now, man, there are 4 hurricanes that's on the horizon.
I know they coming in behind this one right here, and they have no idea where these hurricanes are going to go until they get so far away from our coastline, and then they be able to tell where it's going to go. But right now, they're out there in the middle of the Atlantic, and they're headed this way, and they know it.
Yeah.
But that's what 3 or 4 behind this one.
Yeah. So and then they're talking about one is going to hit either the Philippines or China. They got one that's going to possibly hit Hawaii. So, and then they got 2 that's heading this way on the East Coast. 2 more coming.
They are. But one has already passed by Hawaii. It is Ted. It is unheard of to have hurricanes in the Atlantic and the Pacific. this is something that is almost unheard of in our weather service or whatever. Usually it's either going to happen in the Atlantic or it happens in the Pacific. This year it's happening in both places and stuff at the same time. And like I thought you were talking about the Atlantic, because this hurricane Florence is coming into North Carolina and parts of South Carolina. There's 3 more hurricanes and stuff that's coming in behind Florence.
Yep.
In the Atlantic. We're not talking about the Pacific. In the Atlantic, it's coming in, and it's going to be hitting our coastline, our east coastline, somewhere. Either it's going to come in through Florida, or it's going to come over there up a little bit north there, because the oceans and stuff is warming up, and it's warming up. The further it's warming up in the northern oceans and stuff now, where it usually was kind of cold and it could not sustain a hurricane. But now, because the water's temperatures going up, man, these hurricanes and stuff are coming. And you don't know where they're going to come.
Deny if they want to, but climate change is for real.
It is.
And I don't know all the scientific, but it's for real.
And you still have a lot of people, man, who are denying that these bad weathers and all the other stuff that we are getting, and these really extreme changes and stuff, and temperatures and stuff and everything, aren't because of climate change or whatever. It is. When you have these certain parts of the country and stuff that over the summer and stuff, they have reached temperatures, man, unheard of. You're looking at 115, 110 degrees over there in the desert and stuff in the Southwest. Man, and I've noticed it and stuff here in the Atlanta area and stuff. Usually here during the wintertime, it stays, it might snow and then it'll warm up in the daytime. But this is the first time, man, that we had snow to come in here to Atlanta area, and it stayed on the ground for almost a week. And that's unheard of. It usually warms up and everything.
Definitely some climate change, and
it is. There's something going on.
When you have all these deniers that's in power, they're not trying to, the whole thing is about money, because everything costs money, but there are things that you can do to curtail a lot of those things when you convert from solar, from oil.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, oil is running the country. And that's the big thing right now.
And that's what makes it so kind of, I don't want to use this word, but I'm gonna use it anyway, stupid. Because if you are a fossil fuel company and everything, and you are in control of billions and billions of dollars of resources and stuff, and that fossil fuel is starting to become extinct, and what you're doing and everything is creating a problem and stuff for the environment, why not invest your money in alternative fuel?
Because they want that instant continuous cash flow, bro. I mean, this is all about greed. Greed.
It's still there, though. You can still make your money. You're just going to have to spend some up front to get it. Right now, Ted, there are so many solar farms and stuff around here now. I mean, acres and acres and acres of these panels and stuff out there producing electricity.
Shareholders want to keep making their money. That's all this is all about.
You can still make money and have clean energy.
And if you're a billionaire, let me tell you something. They don't care about the public. If you're a billionaire, they can jump on one of their jets and go to.
But it concerns them too, because the entire world is being affected. As we can,
they don't care. They don't care.
Well, it's affecting them. It's eventually you're cutting off your nose and spite your face, because you cannot hide from climate change. You can't hide from it. It's everywhere. It's affecting countries all over the world.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
You ever heard of Ralph Nader?
Yeah, I heard of old Ralphie.
All right, he was around big time when we was in high school, because he used to come against the Volkswagen, the little bug and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he has a book out called It's Easier Than You Think. Easier Than You Think. Now, I want to just talk about this a little bit. He gave some real good points. And the word that he used was solidarity. Solidarity. That means people coming together on the same mind and have the same purpose. And this is something that I've been talking about for a while. And obviously I'm just as smart as he is, because he just says stuff I've been saying for years. This guy, he said, and he's got an initiative. He's telling people, this is what you can do. If you want to change this way of what's going on in this country, you got to get 2.5 to 3 million people every day to dedicate themselves to donate their time, to spend at least 300 to 400 hours a year of getting out there, getting involved and getting engaged all over the country.
You're probably right.
On a continuous basis.
He's
because
probably right.
If you want Medicare for all or health care for all, this is the thing. Because look at here, man. You had almost over 100 million people that didn't even vote. So that means that democracy is dying because people are not even engaged in voting their own interests. They're sitting up here allowing these crooked politicians.
Ted, there's a whole bunch of folks out there now, buddy, that is waking up because of what's going on here with old 45. He done woke a whole lot of people up, and they are angry out there. And you can see, and even some of these off-brand polling things that they got going on, people are getting riled up, Ted. I'm telling you, this midterm is going to be just like a regular election time, general election time, when the president's on the ballot. They're going out to vote, brother. I'm telling you. And especially with all these women and stuff out there who are candidates and stuff and everything for office, you're going to see a huge swing in people and stuff who are becoming involved in stuff now, because it is, man. And and I know this is horrible here. And you got to be, I have no idea, man, because I really should have. And like I said before, I fought myself, because I should have been out there beating them bushes down, walking and calling up people and everything and say, hey, we got to get this Trump out of, we can't let him win, because he did. He came out there and won, and he has created an environment and stuff out there that we just can't.
Look, man, the thing is, you're talking about Michigan, Wisconsin, and what was it? Pittsburgh.
You mean Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, mean. And so those 3 states are the ones that carried him over.
It did and stuff, Ted, but she should have won. If she could have won Ohio and Florida, she still could have beat him and given those things up. She lost Ohio and she lost Florida. Anytime you have a general election for the presidential election, there are 2 major battleground states that you got to win if you're going to be able to win the presidency, and that's Ohio and Florida. You don't win. If you don't win but one of them, you got a chance of winning. But if you lose both of them,
but
you in
here's
trouble.
The thing, though. I mean, that right there is old statistics, our stuff right there.
No, it ain't old statistics.
Nobody know what's going on now, because everything is just crazy now.
No, it's not. It's those electoral college votes, Ted. She won. She won the popular vote by what, 3 million votes?
But she didn't win the popular vote in those other 3 states.
She doesn't have to win those. Those were you are talking about. The electoral college is what elects a president into office.
Those 3 states.
No, he don't. Those 3 states got electoral college votes and stuff, but they're nowhere near if you can win Ohio
She
and
didn't win
Pennsylvania,
Ohio.
and Ohio and Florida are the key.
So what are you talking about?
She never won them. That's what I'm saying. If she had won them, she could have lost those 3 states and still won the electoral college vote.
So that's that minute that she didn't win them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So
those 2 states are more important than any other state.
Florida is one of the battlegrounds of the whole country.
It is. And Ohio
he only won 1%. He only won by 1% in Florida.
Okay, but she got whoever wins gets those electoral college votes. Is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter. It ain't no sharing. Whoever wins it, get all of them.
That's right.
Ohio, the same way. Whoever wins Ohio, whether they win it by 0.5%, they get all those electoral college votes, which put him over the top to win. If she had won those 2 states, she could have lost Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania and still won.
Well, she got bad intel, didn't she?
No, she didn't get bad intel. She did not follow that pattern that had been left for her by BO.
That's true. That's true.
Because he had a pattern there. He won Ohio and he won Florida each time. He won the election. Those are battleground states, and you got to win them too.
Here's the big push right now.
Okay, go ahead.
The big push right now is to get more people engaged. People that have not voted, to get them more engaged. The people that didn't vote, to get them more engaged. And that's the big push. When you got over 100 million people that didn't vote.
But you have a lot of people in every election who don't come out and vote. For some reason or another, they don't come out and vote.
But here's the thing, like you just said, this right here is not a national voting stream right now. But the thing is that when you look at the economy, one of the most important things that the American people look at is how's the economy doing. Right now, man, they're putting out good news for 45. You got unemployment 3.9%. It was just an article today, and it was a government mandate. It was showing that right now, the average household, middle class, 50% of the people is, and this ain't no big whoop-de-doo, but they're saying that the average household is $61,000 a year, which is the highest that has ever been, which is not a big old deal because really those dollars really is not even half of what they're really worth. You might be bringing home $61,000, your household, you and your wife or whoever, or maybe even just by yourself, but you only really got about $40,000 to spend. That's it. Because by the time you pay your taxes, by the time you pay your property tax, by the time you pay all of that, and especially don't have no state taxes and all of that, you might have 40,000 or less, a little less to work with. So, and then you got to pay all those other bills. You got to buy food and what have you. They break it down, man. They tell you exactly what America spends on. 21% is spent on apparel. 27% is spent on apparel. So that's why people buy clothes. That's what they do. And then they spend so much on electronics. So, and on and on. I mean, all of these things, they know exactly how much money America is going to spend and what their disposable dollars are. And right now, there's a lot of people that are living below or near poverty that's paying 50% of their income is going on housing, whether it's rent or mortgage, it don't matter. And that's what's hurting people right now. This rent is too damn high. What was that guy in New York? He ran on one thing. The rent is too damn high.
He did. Well, now let's talk about this, Ted, just a little bit. Yes, you're right. The unemployment is at the lowest level that it's ever been. But and there are plenty of jobs out there, but what are these jobs paying?
That's right.
That's the point. What are these jobs paying? Are they paying you a living wage?
Nope.
Or are they paying you the minimum wage, which is starvation wages?
No benefits, bro.
No benefits. Yes. So I'm saying to you, even though, like you said, this election period and stuff is changing, and what's going on out there, there used to be a barometer and stuff of what the country and stuff feel. That's no longer there, because even though there's plenty of jobs and the unemployment is low, people aren't making any money, and folks know this. And I think Trump and the Republicans think that, because they gave out that tax cut and the employment numbers are looking real good, that they're going to, and they're going to be swept back into office because they're doing the right thing. But if your folks and your voters understand that what used to buy what they need 3 or 4 years ago is not buying what they need right now.
No, because they've already said that that the cost of living went up 3-5%. And then they say wages went up 3%. So really, you're breaking even or you're not breaking even, depending on what kind of money you're making. But the bottom line is, if you're buying a dozen eggs and they used to cost $1.25 a dozen, and now they cost $1.75 or $2.
They cost more than $2, Ted.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is that the bottom line is that it went up, a great deal of money, because the chickens are still the same. Why it cost so much now?
They still got the same chicken.
You still got the same chicken. Why the eggs going up, man? They still eating grass, right?
No, they don't eat. They eat corn. They feed them corn and grain and stuff like that. But also, Ted, that what we haven't touched upon, and that the CBA and stuff put out some numbers and stuff this week about the debt.
Oh yeah, $900 billion. And we'll be $1 trillion in probably couple of months.
By the time the election gets here, we're going to be at $1 trillion debt. And nobody is saying anything about it. I remember in 2009 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 2013, man, them Republicans was beating our president over the head.
And then he brought it down.
Spending too much money. You putting my grandchildren in debt.
And when he got it, it was like almost $1.5 trillion, and he brought it down to $500 billion.
And they took it, and they done took the bull by the horn and hit it right back up. And they're projecting by 2020 it might hit $2 trillion. If they don't stop something, if something don't happen, it's going to hit $2 trillion. And we haven't even spoke about it here, but in about 2 more weeks, man, they're going to hit that debt thing and stuff and everything, where they're going to have to approve a debt. And I know that if they don't approve that budget and stuff and everything, they're going to shut down the government. And
well, they've already worked that out. The things that I've been reading, I've heard that they've worked it out.
They ain't worked it out because to pass the Senate, they need them Democratic votes. And what they are doing and stuff, Trump said he ain't signing nothing if it don't have money in there for his wall.
Well, I hope he don't sign it. Because number one, he said that the Mexicans were going to pay for it.
Well, it doesn't matter, man. Trump is crazy. That man, he's operating. What did they say? That we got we got kindergarten going on there in the White House. It turned into a kindergarten. You know,
we got
kinder care. We got kinder care.
Crazy town. That's what he said. He didn't say it, but what's his name? The chief of staff, Kelly.
John Kelly, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, he claimed he didn't say it, but
you got kinder care. Yeah, you got kinder care going on up in there. You know, they in there having cookies and milk for 10 o'clock.
Well, you know, he don't like. He's probably not getting cookies. He's probably getting a Big Mac and some fries. Did he get his milk, Big Mac and fries and his Coke?
I don't know, man, but he loves his Coke now.
I'm just trying to figure out, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but if it's true, I don't see how this man is surviving. Man, I cannot eat no McDonald's every day, man. If I eat that stuff 2 times a week, man, I wouldn't be feeling my whole system would be messed up. I like McDonald's and I try to eat. I'll get me a Big Mac or a quarter pounder maybe once a month and some fries.
I don't have it at all. I don't know. You 1 or 2 times a week, that's too much for me because I don't have it at all. I do not go by McDonald's. When my grandkids come here for a vacation or they come to visit us and they tell me they want to go to McDonald's, I can drive right by. I'm not going there. I don't buy McDonald's. And they know it, so they don't even ask me anymore. Granddad, let's go get McDonald's. We ain't going to McDonald's. I don't go there. I don't go to Burger King. None of them places. We're going to buy some and fix it here at the house so y'all can eat. Eat good food.
So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's what you should do.
Yeah.
But that's why I say I don't see how he does it every day, man. How you eat that stuff?
Hey, man. They filling him up full of drugs. You know, that man is the president of the United States, so he got a doctor that stands by his side 24/7. There's a doctor with him. Even when he sleep, he has a doctor. So if he having headaches or pains or whatever, that doctor's sitting right there taking care of him. He might shoot him up with anything to keep him going because he's the president of the United States. They have to keep him going. Now, let's get to some other stuff here, Ted. We got a lot of stuff here. You got lined up here. About 4 months ago on this program, we talked a little bit about Sinclair Media. I don't know if you remember that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they back, man.
Well, they ain't never left.
Yes, they did, because the FCC threw them out, said they wasn't going to let them own the Tribune broadcast. They cut that deal out. Well, I just got a note there and everything that Sinclair is back. They still trying. They coming back here and they forcing the FCC and stuff and everything into letting them get out there and get that Tribune deal and everything cranked back up again. So,
they must play a little politics with the 45.
I have no idea what they did. Nobody knows what they did, but they back. And the chairman of the FCC he's standing up and everything, but I don't know how strong he's going to be. I have no idea how strong he's going to be or what's going on there, but they back. They trying to get that conservative media back out there and letting them buy the Tribune. And if they get a chance to do that and everything, we can forget it, man. Our little podcast is going to have to go sky high then, Ted. We got to go 7 days a week.
Well,
if we want to get our word out there, we got to go 7 days a week, unless we want to hear Fox News and all the other conservative medias out there.
Well, they took over the radio media. I mean, all over the country, man. I mean, it's crazy, man. You know, these people, what they do is they sit there and they just they're on radio. They have special appearances. They're on TV. They write books, and they have programmed the American people that everybody's against them. The Black people is against them. The Latino people, the government is against them. Everybody's against them. Foreigners against them. Your friend, people that people all over the world, like people in Europe and people in Ireland, all of them people are against American people. That's what they programming these people's brain to think, that nobody loves America. And so therefore we need to be isolated. And therefore we need to take care of ourselves. And therefore we're going to make you, the oligarchies are going to make you work a less than living wage. That's the reason why right now, man, the biggest thing that's going on right now in the workplace, and we're talking about salaries, when they start beating down unions, that's when the workforce started going down. When they start beating down those unions, because unions, not only, like unions might, some of these unions, were very, very strong, and people was making $50, $60 an hour. And therefore, other companies had to compete. Say, well, we can't pay you $60 an hour, but I can pay you $20. I can pay you $25. And so right now, man, the union in America right now is only 6% of the workforce. 6%. 35 years ago, it was over 30%. They have killed the unions. And that's the one thing that people, they have just killed it. So, and that's the problem right now. To me, that's why salaries haven't risen. That's why salaries haven't risen. I remember in 1982, and well, it was in 81 probably, but when Reagan was president, every year, the LA Times used to give everybody a cost of living of, it was only like 2 to 5%. Every year, everybody was expecting getting that raise. And the word was out that Reagan called the president at that time, his name was Johnson, Ron Johnson, I think it was, first name. And he told them, Reagan asked him, don't give your people the raise this year. Because he was cutting down raises. Salaries was going up in the 80s, man. And you know whose salary went up the most? In the early 80s, Congress was making $85,000 a year. What do they make now?
Over 176,000.
Almost 200,000. And if you count the perks and benefits, over 200,000+. And then they have a budget. A lot of them have budgets of millions of dollars. So they're living good, and they kept up with the cost of living, but the American people didn't.
Well, like the old adage say, you take care of yourself first. Ted, let's turn it just a little bit more here. You in the national news here lately and stuff, they have I think Tuesday, that book came out, Fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a chance to read it because
it ain't out
you can't get a copy of it.
It ain't out yet.
They already produced almost 1 million copies, and they sold out.
It's not officially out yet.
Yes, it is. It started Tuesday. They were out Tuesday.
I apologize. You're right.
Every outlet, every news thing, Amazon, all the book folks and stuff that got books
can't print enough.
They can't print enough. They sold them out. It's because of the information that Bob Woodward put into that book. And a lot of people out there are believing some of the things that he has put into that book, because when it first came out and they first knew what was inside that book, they gave out excerpts and stuff a couple of weeks ago. The White House came forth and said there's a bunch of lies, there's fake news and all that stuff. And then Bob Woodward said one thing. I got tapes.
That was it, bro.
That was it. They got quiet. The only one that said anything was Trump after that. he got his Twitter account and kept on talking about fake news and all that other stuff. But the White House hadn't put nothing else out. When he said, I got tapes, it was all over. So, but it is, I was listening to Rachel Maddow and stuff last night, and she had Bob Woodward and stuff on. And Bob is getting old. You know, he's been around since the Nixon and stuff going on there, Nixon impeachment stuff going on. He's been out there since then, and he's gotten himself old. So I do believe that even though he is the author and stuff of that book, his people and stuff who actually have written that book and everything is not him. He's got other folks out there that he is coming to do it, because he has lost, man. He has lost something. He's a little slow.
No. He's very particular, bro. He watches his words. I don't know if you was listening to his interview.
I did.
This man, he put it right on point, and he said it in such a way where it wouldn't get him in trouble, and he never slandered anybody. So he had to watch what he said and be careful on making sure that he had everything adequate. That's why. That's because a person speaks fast and run off at the mouth don't mean they smart and know what they're talking about. This man is very smart and intelligent.
He has written books on every president that there ever has been since Nixon.
The last nine presidents, yeah.
I'm on there. And each time he's been interviewed and stuff from that thing, you go back and look at those interviews that they've had from Bob Woodward for his books and everything. He's slowed down, Ted.
That don't mean nothing. It's what's coming out of
his mind and stuff is not as quick as it used to be.
He's over 70 right now. So what do you expect?
Way over 70. He's almost in his 80s and stuff, and he is his mind is not as quick as it used to be.
And
it's there. Nobody's
quick as that once they get old. We old, man. We ain't quick as we used to be.
You speak for yourself, my brother. Speak for yourself.
I heard him, and that came to me. But I said, but he's being particular to make sure what he says is adequate and correct. And he corrects when he was correcting her, and he was correcting a lot of people on these interviews.
It wasn't a correction that he was making and stuff, Ted, because she asked him some things and stuff. She says, well, this is how I view the book and stuff and what you were saying. And he says, no, that's not what I meant and stuff into that book. Now, when you read stuff and stuff, Ted, somebody can interpret that book a little bit differently than what you meant for it to be interpreted. And that's what it was. It was Rachel's interpretation of what he was putting into that book, but he was turning around and saying, well, no, I didn't mean it that way and stuff. This is the way I meant it. But she interpreted what he had written as what she said. This is what I think that you mean. And he said, no, that's not it. I meant this and I meant that and everything. And that could have been right. That's what he wanted to portray. But what somebody else reads into that, Ted, could be totally different and stuff. And that's what she read into that. But she was just asking him, what was he thinking? And other people who are going to read that book are going to interpret it differently.
She was trying to goad him into coming against the White House. He's a reporter. You got to remember that. He's a reporter. He's not a commentator like she is.
No,
he's a reporter.
I don't think she was goading him to do that. It was not. I don't think that was it. And I think you and I got a different opinion and stuff with that, because I don't think she was goading him and stuff at all.
Oh yeah, she was trying.
Rachel cannot afford to goat people when they come on.
When
to
I
her
say
show.
goat, I'm talking about egg. You know, words are funny. When I say goat or egg or something like that, that might be a little strong.
And you meant that. But you meant that. The first words that come out of your mouth, you mean that.
No, but what I'm saying is that she was sort of kind of get him to say something in a way to come against the White House, and he would not do that. He
But I
didn't do
don't
that.
think that's what she was trying to do, Ted.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
believe
they
that she
all
was
been
trying to do it.
do.
No, I don't believe that what she was trying to do, because if it was even thought that she was trying to do that, she will never get anybody else to come on to her show and have those major interviews with those people. You won't be able to do it. You can't do it.
Very subtle, trying to get him to do that.
No, she wasn't. I don't believe she was doing that, because when he said what he had to say, she stopped and listened to every word he had to say intently. She didn't try to go to him on any first. She was asking the question. This is what, and she said, "This is what I thought."
We can agree to disagree. Let's move on, because, really, to be honest with you, the man is sharp. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for years, and he knows exactly.
He's losing a step, Ted. You go back and look at his other interviews. I guarantee you. You go back and look at his videos of what he did before and what's going on now. He's losing a step. That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course, he's going to be a lot more enthusiastic.
He's losing a step. So anyway, go ahead. What else are you going to say?
Okay, this is the whole thing about 45. I'm sure you heard of Noam Chomsky, and
you want to talk about 45 again?
But no, let me just bring this up.
He gets too much of our time.
No. But what I'm saying is, and this is all I want to say, is that everything that he is doing is about distraction, chaos. And while he's doing this, he's trying to dismantle everything that's going on. He talks about the FBI, the CIA. He talks about the government and this and that. And he's trying to break up tariffs, as far as having free trade and agreeable trade. He comes against all of this. Everything is about distraction. While he's doing this, the underlings, the senators, the congressmen are doing things under the table. So many things. They're changing so many things, laws, and doing all these deregulations and all kinds of stuff that they're doing. They got another tax that they're getting ready to bump on the billionaires and the millionaires. They're doing so many things that's going to disrupt the American system for years to come. And right now, they're not going to feel it right now, because everything is happy days for them right now. They're not looking. See, the thing is, the problem with this country, and with really a lot of people in this country, and I will include myself and a whole lot of families and everything, we only see today or tomorrow. We're supposed to be looking 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now. Because people don't look at it as like, here we are, we're living in 2018. We should be planning how this country is going to be. We're having the mass transportation. We're talking about, using all this oil, and you got these millions and millions of cars running across this country, but we don't even have mass transportation adequately. What we got? Uber and whatever the other company is, and they running around, transferring people around, when a person should just walk to the corner and catch a bus. It's crazy, man. I mean, and the bottom line is that all of this stuff costs money. The roads and all of that stuff costs money. And when you got cars that's going over these roads and tearing them up left and right, really, people don't need no 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with not having that, but we need mass transportation. That's what we need. And the people have geared this way to profitize everything and monetize everything. And right now, the big money is selling cars and selling gas. That's where the money is. And if you're not buying cars now, right now, that's the reason why right now, you can walk into a bank right now and don't hardly be working, and you can get you a brand new car. All you got to have is decent credit, no money down. But you can't step off on the main street and go get on the bus unless you're waiting 30 minutes.
Okay, you done with 45 now? Because all that's old news. What he doing is old news. We have to talk. I'm into a positive mode and stuff here and stuff, Ted. I'm tired of listening and hearing about what Trump trying to do, and he's only in the executive branch of government. You have a judicial branch of government and you have a legislative branch of government.
And they ain't doing nothing.
And the positive thing that I want to bring up and stuff is that we understand that they're not doing anything because the Republicans are there. When the election ended and stuff, the Republicans had the House, they had the Senate, and they had the executive branch of government. So if you want to change things, you have to be about changing your government. And so I'm looking at these governor's races and stuff here that's getting ready to happen. There's something historic getting ready to come about, and I'm looking forward to that. I have here in Georgia a young lady of African American descent.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on that show.
It doesn't matter. I'm just giving everybody here or who listening and stuff who live here in Georgia hands up. We need to get out there and help girlfriend. She's sitting there holding her own, but she needs help. And she needs other people to come out there. I know you said that you were going to be down there in Florida and calling and getting on the phone. And then call. I told you don't be calling his office. You go down to wherever his office is at and walk into that.
Don't tell me how to do what I'm gonna do. Don't tell me what I got to do. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. I call his office and they gotta call me back and tell me.
They ain't gonna call you back. They ain't gonna call you back. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. You watch and see. They ain't gonna call you back. Now and then we have another. We have another governor who is a African American governor and stuff in the state of Maryland, who has an excellent chance of winning that race because Maryland is a
what's his name?
Downright.
What's his name? Ben what?
No, his name is Ben Jealous.
Yeah, I said Ben something. What is it?
Ben Jealous. Ben Jealous. He used to be the president of the NAACP.
Right.
Yes, he is running for the governorship there in Maryland. So we have some historic things getting ready to go on here for us. And I'm looking forward and everything to seeing all three of them sitting up there in the governor's mansion in Tallahassee and Atlanta, Georgia, and in Maryland, wherever their governor's mansion there in Maryland at. I want to see them and stuff sitting up in there. It would be a great day and stuff for us if that happens.
All of that is great, and I'm not knocking that. And it's sort of like a pictorial, like it's epic and all that. But he who controls the goal makes the decisions.
And that's the point that I'm getting, and that is the point that I'm getting at.
Okay.
The Republicans did not gain all that power and stuff without having to do that legwork. And the legwork came when they start taking over the state houses and stuff in all of these states around here, which allowed them to have people up there in the federal office. So I'm saying this because if you got a Democratic governor sitting in the state house in Florida, you got a daggone good chance and stuff of letting a Democratic candidate who runs for president to win the state of Florida. You also have a good chance to allowing for the first time in decades a Democrat winning the state of Georgia. That's my thing. That's why I'm saying this about this. It means a lot, but it also means that we are going to be gathering up those state houses and getting people and stuff in office. And we have to start, if we're going to change what you're talking about, Ted, and what you're talking about, with what they trying to do, and they doing this, they ain't doing this, they ain't doing that. They're not putting money in roads. They're not putting money and stuff in public transportation or whatever. You're going to have to change your local offices. If you don't change your local offices, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
They're feeding off of these local offices and stuff and everything all the way up. And like we talked about and stuff on Wednesday and stuff, we talked about how these high schools, starting out in high schools and grade schools and everything in these districts and stuff who are supposed to be educating our children, and they are not doing it. So we have to get people and stuff there in these local offices. And we're talking to everybody out there. You need to get involved in your local political affairs and stuff.
So you know what Ralph Nader said about that? Get yourself educated and stuff as far as what's going on there. Listen to this. Ralph Nader said, this is what he said. Now, you know, I've never been a big Ralph Nader fan because to me, I'm not, I like some certain social things, that's help the people and really help the American people to a great point. But this is what he said. Civil democracy takes tools. These tools are not given to these kids in elementary school and in high school. They have to be under adult supervision and given those tools and get engaged. I can remember when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, 6th and 7th and 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade, we had political science, and when I was in high school, I took civics, and I learned about a lot of those things, but they didn't really give me the supervision of really what was really going on, because you know why? It's two parties, because those adults didn't know how to explain the Democratic Party and the Republican Party in a way that would be fair so that I can make a decision, and then all the other parties that is inclusive, because they didn't want to get political. Just like they don't in schools, in public schools, they don't want to get religious. You know what I'm saying? And I think that children, kids, young people should be engaged in all of those things, just like they don't talk about financing in school, about money. So those things, those three things, religion, politics, government, and money, those are the three things that you should be teaching kids, man, besides all your little history and all that stuff. But those three things, man, when you talk about telling people how to make money and financing, you tell people about politics and how to get engaged, those are the things that you need to be teaching people. So
that's the schools, when you start out, and I learned this the hard way after I got older and stuff and everything, when I got into coaching football. And I had coaches and stuff on my squad, and the kids out there playing, and they're hollering at them, do your job, do your job. These kids don't know anything about football. They see it on television.
Yeah.
And they see it, all the other things, and they see these guys out there running around doing it, making tackles and all the other stuff.
They don't know what they're doing.
But they have no idea what they're doing. So you have to teach the basics before you can get to the point and everything to where they can become professionals and stuff in those particular fields that you are talking about. So you have to teach your elementary and your primary schools and your middle schoolers and your high schoolers and stuff those basics. You got to give them those basics and stuff, and you build them up by doing that. When I had football, I told my coaches, after we finished up and I looked at them, I said, oh, this is wrong. I asked my coach, I said, okay, you told him to do his job. What is his job? Well, he's supposed to do this, and he's supposed to do that, and he was told to do that, and he was told to do that. I said, well, how is he supposed to know that unless you do what? You have to teach him. And you only teach him by being repetitive about it, because you can't go and say, do this with a kid, because their mind is very, very short and they haven't learned yet. So you have to get repetitive with it. And as you getting repetitive with it and everything, you constantly showing them these basic stuff, and then you show them a few more other things. You get to the basics again, you show them a few more other things. You get to the basics again, you show them a few other things. Until that happens, these kids are not going to learn what they need to do, what their job is when they get out there. When you say they need to get involved in politics, they have to understand politics and what it's all about. They have to understand the branches of government, how that government came about. And if you don't teach them that, they are not going to understand about politics, because you sitting out there, oh, you should know this. Well, I didn't get taught this in grade school.
What you just said is absolutely correct, because, I taught, basketball, AAU. And everything is about fundamentals. When you first starting out, you have to learn the fundamentals. And certain people are good at certain things. Like you might have, I'm just using this example. You might have a person know how to dribble real good. Mm-hmm. Can't shoot worth a crap. Mm-hmm. You might have a person that's a good rebounder, but he can't dribble, he can't whatever. So you have certain people that have these skills. So just like in the student capacity, when these kids, you're teaching these kids, certain kids pick up things. Because I can remember right now, man, several students that picked up on a lot of this politics stuff. And the reason why they probably did is because their parents probably talked to them about this kind of stuff.
Constantly, all the time.
Constantly talking all the time.
And even this, Ted, most of the children and stuff, their minds haven't been fully developed. When you were starting out playing basketball and everything, you couldn't jump as high as you jumped when you got into college, did you?
No.
Okay, then. So your body had to develop so where it can do that. And so now I can jump higher now and everything, because I done developed my body and got it stronger and everything, and I can get up there. So the same thing and stuff goes on there in school. These kids and stuff, a lot of times you give them the basics and stuff, and you have to continue, like we said, you got to continue to give them the basics and stuff. And understand what's going on.
What I just said, though, the thing is some of these people are more developed because they were taught at home early. They were constantly around the dinner table. Maybe they was talking about politics. Maybe they was talking about financing. Maybe they was talking about different things and issues. And so therefore they're more advanced because they were having conversations and being taught by their parents. You got a lot of kids now, they're not being taught that. They get home, they sit in front of TV, eat their dinner. They're not talking about politics or money or anything like that, or government.
Nothing. Or learning how to communicate with their parents and their peers and stuff around there. There has to be a learning process to learn how to talk with their parents, because you have parents and stuff now that hey, you can't do this, you can't talk back to me. But sometimes you have to allow the children and stuff and everything to speak their mind. So they can tell you what's on their mind, and we have to do that a lot. And there are a lot of kids and stuff, Ted, and this as a teacher. They are coming to school unprepared. You give them a homework assignment and they come back the next day and where's your homework at? And the dog ate it, whatever. But they haven't, for some reason or another, they haven't done it because their parents and stuff haven't been there to make them do their homework, or to give them that incentive to get their homework done.
Supervision with these kids. You cannot just let them be on their own. And you don't have to be on them all the time and treat them like little babies, but you let them know what the rules are. these are the rules, these are the procedures that you have to follow, and this is what I expect from you. And that's it. You know, I expect
And
certain
listen
things from you.
and listen to what they have to say, because sometimes they have something to say
Oh
that
yeah.
that is impeding their learnings.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my teacher didn't tell me this, or this day and stuff. I asked her a question and she didn't answer my question. That thing, I raised my hand and I asked her, and I didn't understand, and she went on to somebody else. Those things and stuff happen in an environment when you got 25 or 30 kids and stuff in a
Absolutely.
classroom and stuff and everything. You got 40 kids in a classroom. Everybody can't get that one-on-one attention.
But the
So
thing is, what I'm talking about though is that they're denying, not all schools, because I see some schools are picking it up, but they are denying these kids civics, and they're denying these kids finance information. And those are two of the things that they really need to do. And you know, and really they're denying kids basic health things now. They more into it now, but I just think, you know, the thing that I want to go back to is I know we're running out of time. We're almost done here. And I think we done ran over. We done ran over. But let me
again.
See,
Go ahead.
The theme of this show is Ralph Nader. And I wanna
that's the theme you wanted to have, because I don't care about Ralph Nader. Oh, before we go, Tim, we have to make sure we let them know that we got a guest coming on what, the 19th?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You go ahead. Then we talk about the guest.
There were some the quotes that I took down from him that is very, you know, I mean, this man, you know, regardless whether you like him or dislike him, you know, he was one of that they kept Al Gore out of the presidency. He even, you know, on and on. But anyway, here's the thing. Here's what he said. I'm going to give you 3 quotes. There can be no daily democracy without daily citizenship. That's what we've been talking about. Now, check this out. Turn on to politics, or politics will turn on to you. Here's the last one. A society that has more justice is a society that needs less charity.
So he's dealing in proverbs now, huh?
I'm just saying. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, when you think about those things, you know, I mean, you know, I'm not, you know, you're more political savvy than I am, way more than I am. And I've never been, you know, I've always been in the sports and business, you know, but turn on to politics, or politics will turn on to you. Now that's profound, bro. You know that's profound, because that's exactly what's happening to us right now. Politics have been turned on to us right now, giving us what we do not deserve, you know, but like they say, you get what you deserve if you don't vote.
Well, he's turning into proverbs here. We got to go to the Bible on it.
All right. I'm done. Okay. All right. Go put your last words in there. What you got to say?
No, I had to make sure everybody know that on the 19th we have a guest interview coming on. So we hope people start looking for it. September 19th at what day is that? There, Saturday?
No, is that a Saturday?
No, it's next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
That's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday we got a guest coming on. It's 7:00. Oh, okay. Well, we have to get ready for him. One of our old past classmates and stuff from high school is going to be coming on to the show and everything. She and her husband, probably Dean Lillard, will be here, and Anisha's going to be talking about her documentary that she's creating. So we're looking forward to having her on.
Oh yeah, and then you and I got to discuss what kind of. Well, I don't know. I think it should be off the cuffs, really.
Well, we're going to let her talk about her documentary. because that's going to be deep, man. I'm telling you, it's going to get real deep because Ann has done a lot of work and stuff on it. She's been working on it now for about 3 or 4 years now, I think. So she's got a lot to talk about how she's producing that thing and her thoughts and stuff and everything as far as how she got started in doing that and what motivated her to even start it.
I think,
there's a story there.
Yeah, it is a great story because it's a story of blacks and whites working together. It's a story about black survival in a small town and how so many great people in that community helped a lot of other people. So this story is just very, very good, and it could have been really much more of it. And I think she's trying to find out the bottom line. She's trying to tell that story and find out why didn't it click, and then the other communities around it sort of kind of prospered to a certain degree. I mean, they didn't prosper all that great, but a lot of them had a lot more, advantages than the community that we came from.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping that we have some viewers to come on. If they don't, we're going to have a recorded version out there for people to listen to. And I'm going to talk to or either go online there and send out some notices and stuff to let people know that YouTube video and stuff is out there and that they need to go and look at it. That's one that we're going to happen on 19th.
Oh yeah, and she's going to bring some good information. That's
absolutely, absolutely, and I'm looking forward and stuff to having her on. So, you guys and stuff out there who get a chance to look at the recorded version and stuff, hopefully you guys will have a chance to see this thing and stuff next Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it, and I know Ted is, and I'm pretty sure she is also. Yeah. So anyway, good evening, everyone. We want to say goodbye, and we will see you guys and stuff on Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
Bye.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I give you more emotions. All you gotta do is focus, not what you used to, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out here looking for you. You're something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster, get inside my aeroplane. I can take you places, baby, places you ain't been. I bet you like that.